Hey everyone, let's just dive right into this ultimate welfare-first guide to guppy care. Today we're completely shifting our mindset. We're moving away from just, keeping these beautiful little fish alive to helping them genuinely thrive. Guppies are incredibly popular. They're adaptable and they're super vibrant. But honestly, there's a massive difference between a fish that's just existing in a glass box and one that is absolutely flourishing in a carefully crafted aquatic ecosystem.
So, it really boils down to this. Are your guppies merely surviving, or are they truly thriving? That's the vital question we have to ask ourselves as responsible fish keepers. It's so easy to fall into the trap of doing the bare minimum, right? Especially since guppies have this reputation for being virtually indestructible. But to really unlock their best colors, their most active behaviors, and their absolute maximum lifespan, well, we've got to aim a bit higher.
Here's how we're breaking down today's explainer. 1. Meet the guppy. 2. Building a welfare-first habitat. 3. Social needs and tank mates. 4. Nutrition and routine maintenance. 5. Health signs and breeding. And finally, 6. We'll wrap up with the ultimate guppy care checklist.
All right, Section 1, Meet the Guppy.
Originating from the warm, fresh waters of South America, guppies are these incredibly fast, active, mid to top dwelling swimmers. And there's actually a striking visual difference between the sexes. The slender males top out at about 1 1/8 inches, and they boast these incredible flashy colors and flowing fins. Basically, they love to show off. The females, on the other hand, grow to nearly double that size, about 2 1/8 inches, and they have a much rounder shape with noticeably paler colors. By the way, quick tip, if you ever see your guppies turning unusually pale across the board, pay close attention. That's a huge red flag indicator that they're stressed out.
Now, out in the wild, they face a ton of predators. But if you provide an ideal, totally stress-free tank environment, your guppies can actually reach their maximum expected lifespan of up to 2 years. In fact, because they aren't constantly dodging birds and bigger fish right there in your living room, a pristine tank setup can actually help them outlive their wild cousins. How cool is that?
Moving on to Section 2, Building a Welfare-First Habitat.
To perfectly replicate their natural environment, maintaining specific, really consistent water parameters is absolutely crucial. Guppies love hard, fresh water. You're going to want to aim for a pH between 6.8 and 7.6, and a temperature range sitting nicely between 74 and 82 degrees Fahrenheit. And look, consistency is the absolute secret sauce to a stress-free fish. Because of that, running a reliable water heater is mandatory. Yes, even if your house feels pretty warm, you need it to prevent those dangerous temperature swings.
Check out the stark contrast between a bare minimum setup and a truly thriving, welfare-first environment. While a basic 5-gallon tank is the absolute floor, a welfare-first approach demands giving them some extra breathing room. Think your 5-gallon base plus 1 extra gallon of water for literally every additional adult guppy you drop in. On top of that, you're going to want to add a bubbler to keep the water beautifully aerated and introduce live plants like Java moss. These plants aren't just for decoration. They provide vital hiding spots, and they actually act like a natural filter, accelerating the nitrogen cycle to keep your water crystal clear.
Which brings us to Section 3, Social Needs and Tank Mates.
Guppies enjoy one another's company and prefer to be housed in groups of at least 3. They're incredibly peaceful, totally laid-back fish with zero aggressive tendencies. But because they are true schooling fish, keeping them in groups is absolutely non-negotiable for their mental well-being. You should always ensure you have a group of at least 3. They spend their entire day actively swimming, playing tag with each other, and, the males just love strutting their stuff. A solitary guppy? That's a highly stressed, unhappy guppy. So when it comes to adding other species into the mix, you really have to be strategic. Since your guppies prefer hanging out in the mid to top levels of the water column, their ideal roommates are peaceful mid to bottom dwellers. Think along the lines of cory catfish and nerite snails, or even small, peaceful swimmers like harlequin resporas, cardinal tetras, or mollies. These guys won't compete for the same swimming real estate, and more importantly, they definitely won't view your brightly colored little guppies as a quick snack. Let's look at Section 4, Nutrition and Routine Maintenance. Look, a thriving fish is a well-fed fish, for sure, but overfeeding, that is a super common trap we need to avoid like the plague. In the wild, guppies are opportunistic omnivores. To replicate that healthy balance, you'll want to follow a strict 2-minute, twice-a-day feeding rule. Offer them a highly varied, rotating menu. We're talking high-quality flakes, algae wafers, and tasty frozen treats like bloodworms.
But here is the absolute most critical part. You only feed them what they can completely polish off in exactly 2 minutes. Any uneaten food has to be scooped out immediately. If you leave it, it's going to decay, spike your ammonia levels, and completely wreck your tank's water quality.
Moving into Section 5, Health Signs and Breeding.
Okay, so even if your maintenance routine is flawless, you still have to stay pretty vigilant. If you notice a sudden loss of appetite or excess slime on their bodies, it might be protozoan disease, which is actually so common it's literally called Guppy disease. Spotting tiny white dots and seeing your fish scratching against rocks, classic sign of a parasite known as itch. And if those beautiful flowing fins start looking ragged or milky colored, you are likely dealing with fin rot. The common thread tying all these together, they almost always stem from stress, overcrowding, or poor water quality. If you spot these red flags, jump on it immediately. Test your water parameters, bump up the temperature if it's running too cold, and definitely consider quarantining the sick fish.
Now, what if you decide to breed these live bears? Or, let's be honest, what if it just happens by accident? Because they are notorious for multiplying like wildfire. Well, you need a solid game plan. First, you have to divide the male's attention across multiple females. Ideally, you want 1 male for every 3 females to prevent any one female from getting severely stressed out. Set your breeding tank to a cozy 79 degrees. The females will carry the eggs inside them for a month-long gestation period, and you'll want to feed them 3 to 5 tiny meals a day during this time. Once those tiny fry are born, you have to remove the adult females immediately, or, fair warning, they will eat their own young. Feed the babies powdered flakes until week 6. By then, they're finally big enough to safely graduate to the main tank.
Finally, Section 6, the ultimate guppy care checklist.
Let's tie all of this expert knowledge together into one clear, actionable summary that you can basically use to audit your own setup right now. By strictly following this Thrive checklist, you are elevating your care from just keeping them breathing to ensuring an incredibly vibrant, active life for your little school. You need a properly sized 5+ gallon tank, plus an extra gallon per adult. You need heated water sitting steady between 74 and 82 degrees, a highly varied diet fed twice daily, peaceful mid to bottom dwelling tank mates, and maybe the most important rule, they absolutely must be kept in social groups of 3 or more. This right here, this is your ultimate blueprint for thriving guppies.
So, are you ready to upgrade your aquarium and give your guppies the thriving life they truly deserve? It definitely takes some real dedication to maintain these premium conditions. You've got to be consistent with your water testing, super mindful of their diet, and always keeping a watchful eye on their behavior. But let me tell you, the reward of having this mesmerizing, brightly colored, absolutely thriving aquatic ecosystem right in your living room, it is entirely worth the effort. Take a good look at your tank today and ask yourself, what is one single thing you can change right now to push your guppy care from merely surviving to truly thriving?